Welcome to today's video. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how the truth will set you free. This is something that I did not understand for the majority of my life, but if you want to be free from your mind, free from your anxiety, free from your suffering, today's episode is really going to help you out with that. Let's dive in. Heard it my entire life, this phrase, the truth will set you free. And only recently, and I mean maybe the past 6 months, has the phrase actually really started to sink into my bones and I really start to understand it. I was always like, what does it mean that the truth will set you free? And so we a lot of times distort reality, and this is super important for you to understand, we are constantly distorting reality. And when we're distorting reality, we are not in truth. And if we're not in truth, we're not free. And he was in mental suffering because of the fact that he had distorted reality. He wasn't living in truth. So we move it and we change it to fit our story, to fit our narrative. And so my client is trapped in his own mind in suffering for something that did not really happen in reality. He was trapped. He was not free. He was not in truth. So when you get to truth, the truth will set you free. We get free from our story, free from the suffering that our mind causes us to be in all the time. And this is what it comes down to, is clear thinking. We think, if I were to walk up to somebody on the street and say, hey, do you feel like you're a clear thinker? I believe that probably every single person I went up to would say, yeah, I think clearly. But if we were to be able to pick apart the stories and narratives in their mind, we can see that there is there's very little clear thinking that happens. It's a lot of distorted realities. And so being a clear thinker and to really see reality as it is, without our conditionings, without our programmings, without our stories, without our narratives, without our religions, without our beliefs, without our self-limiting beliefs, without our fears, without any of those. Being a clear thinker without all of that stuff is way more valuable than being smart. It might be the most valuable thing that you could have, is the ability to see and think extremely clearly without placing your distortion of reality on top of it. Knowledge is great. Reading a book, all of that stuff is great, but wisdom is better. And wisdom is the ability to see things clearly, to see things as they truly are, not as we think they are. Real wisdom is extreme self-awareness. The hard thing about this, though, is to actually see the truth, to remove ourselves, to not see something that we can get so wrapped up in subjectively and start to see it objectively. To, as I always say, you can't read the jar when you're in, or you can't, excuse me, I'm screwing up the quote that I use all the time. You can't read the label when you're inside the jar. You have to pull yourself out of the jar to read the label. You have to pull yourself out of your mind, out of yourself, to look at yourself from a third person's perspective and be like, what's really happening here? That right there might be one of the most valuable things that you could have. Being a clear thinker is way more valuable than being smart, way more valuable than acquiring knowledge. It's really about seeing things as they are without our stories and our narratives. So it's hard to see the truth, though. And it's hard because you have to get your ego out of the way. You have to be okay with looking at something objectively and opening yourself up to being incorrect, opening yourself up to being false, to seeing your own lies. And most people don't want to do that. The smaller you can make your ego, the more you can see the truth for what it actually is. And the more that you can see the truth for what it actually is, the less suffering that you'll go through, and the more free that you will be because you're seeing things in truth. Our ego is what really clouds reality. In my example with my client, his ego was making him play the victim because when he was younger, that's what got him attention from his parents. And so when he was younger, that's how he got attention from his parents, from playing the victim. And he got essentially what he wanted when he was 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. And now, because that's a pattern, he's learned to do the exact same thing again. And that's what he wants again. He unconsciously seeks this again. And so the smaller that you can make your ego, the less conditionings will come up from the past. And it comes down to looking at something really objectively and saying I'm triggered right now. Why am I triggered? Like, so he was pissed off. Why am I pissed off right now? And so for all of us out there, I think one of the most important things we could do, sure, I want you to become smart and read things and become accomplished and be successful and have all the love that you can in the world. But what I really think is that we should all seek truth, and we should seek truth by trying to see things as clear as we possibly can. Can we get better at clearly thinking all the time? Because if we can, if we seek the truth is what will set us free. So that's what I got for you for today's episode. If you love this episode, please do me a favor. Share it on your Instagram stories. Tag me at Rob Dial Jr., ROBDIALJR. Also, if you love this podcast, you'll definitely love something I have coming out called Mindset Mentor Plus. It is the plus side, an extra version of this podcast. As you know, this podcast comes out 4 times a week, but in Mindset Mentor Plus, every single episode that I put out 4 times a week is going to come with detailed worksheets, multiple pages to go deeper into every single subject so that you can get better knowledge from it, but also start to integrate it into your life, because it's going to come with journaling prompts to work into your life. It's going to come with assignments to work into your life. There's going to be exclusive Q&A sessions with me. There's going to be an entire community of people who all listen to the podcast, who all have signed up for Mindset Mentor Plus, that are all interested in learning and growing themselves, that you could connect with. And it's going to be coming out very soon, and I will be announcing it soon. But if you want to sign up for the waitlist to learn more and to be the first to learn about it, go to mindsetwaitlist.com. Reason why is because the people who are on the waitlist, the founding members are going to get a discount. And so if that's something that you want to learn about, I will email you first before I announce it on social media, before I announce the podcast. All you have to do is go to mindsetwaitlist.com and sign up right now. And with that, I'm going to leave you the same way I leave you every single episode. Make it your mission to make someone else's day better. I appreciate you, and I hope that you have an amazing day.